Why won't they just do what we want them to do? Do the Save America Act now. Get rid of the filibuster. All right, don't nuke it. Do the talking filibuster, which is what it was in the very origins of it. Why are we still talking about this and we're not getting it done? And the midterms are coming up very soon. And trust me, the Democrats want that power back. Then you can't do anything. Then the Republicans will say what they've been saying the entire time. We can't do anything now. We don't have the power. Let's get with Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, article3project.org. Hi, Mike.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm living the dream. Why won't they just do it? Why the hell won't they just do it? The talking filibuster just basically is a throwback to what it was originally, right?
Let me say this to the Senate Republicans. There is 80% support for voter ID, right? The SAVE Act has broad bipartisan support, overwhelming bipartisan support, including among Democrats, including among minorities. So if Senate Republicans cannot pass a bill with 80% support among Americans, what the hell are you doing in the Senate? You need to do everything you can to pass the SAVE Act. It is common sense. Every other civilized country on earth requires proof of citizenship, voter ID to vote in elections. There's no reason we can't do it here. The reason why we have an Islamist, Marxist mayor of New York City and the subsequent terrorist attacks from that election is because we let foreigners invade our election system in New York City and elect someone who does not reflect American values. That's going to happen all across America. We know that illegal aliens are voting in our elections. We are catching them every day, and the SAVE Act makes it much more difficult for these illegal aliens to illegally vote.
Mike, I couldn't have said it better. What is the problem, though? And again, I'll throw this back to what you and I have talked about before. In 2008, they said, give us the House in 10, we'll stop Obama. We gave them the House, they didn't stop him. They said, well, give us the Senate in 14, we'll stop Obama. Gave them the Senate in 14, they didn't stop anything. Well, give us the presidency in 16, and we did. Then they had the House, there's the Senate, the presidency. They still didn't do it. It seems as though when the Republicans have the power they ask us for, when they have the ability to do the representation for us, they don't do it. When the Democrats get it, they'll do anything they want. So what exactly do we have to just get rid of all the old guard? Is this a rhino thing? Because Thune says in one side of his mouth, I've got the votes for the SAVE Act now, and the president's calling it the Save America Act. And on the other side of his mouth, he says, but I don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster or to do the talking filibuster. Both can't be true. If you've got the votes, these people would want to take the vote, wouldn't they?
This is a major test for Senate Majority Leader John Thune. We have the SAVE Act that has 80% support among Americans, including a supermajority of Democrats and even a supermajority of minorities.
Right.
If he cannot convince his colleagues to get this passed, he has failed that test of leadership. This is crucially important to the future of America. We could not have American elections invaded and overrun by illegal aliens. We will lose our country like Great Britain and many of the other countries in Western Europe are losing their countries. They're losing their sovereignty to third world Islamists. We cannot allow that to happen in America. There is no excuse for not passing the SAVE Act with 80% support, including supermajority support of Democrats and even minorities. So no more excuses. Get it on the president's desk, period, full stop.
Is the talking filibuster the original filibuster where you got to keep on arguing and debating until you can't anymore, and then you get to cloture and then the president gets to sign it? Is it the same exact thing as it used to be, or is this something different?
No, this is the same thing. There's the two debate rule. Look, you have unlimited debates in the Senate, but you have to go by the rules that you can only debate twice on a no two debate rule. You can't debate twice on a measure. Each senator has to stand and talk. If the Democrats want to make it difficult to pass legislation with 80% support, including a supermajority of Democrats and even minorities, Republicans need to turn up the heat.
Yeah.
And if Senator John Thune cannot get passage of the SAVE Act with 80% support among Americans, maybe he's in the wrong job.
I couldn't agree more. It's Mike Davis. Go and follow him everywhere. MRDDMIA over on all the socials. I remembered it, Mike. That's crazy. Article3project.org. Go and support him there. Everything they do is about the Constitution. It's about actually spelling out what Article 1, 2, and 3 do. And they should not be intermingling like they are right now. Let's talk about the DHS shutdown. You know that I know that you know that ICE and CPS are both being they're both being funded now. They're funded through the rest of Trump's term. There's really no reason in trying to get ICE changes or DHS changes to hold this money back. It's just making 3-hour delays at the airport. It's just giving us regular Americans a hard time because they can do so in Washington. How do you get past this DHS shutdown? Is this also a thing where Thune can just shut down the debate and say, let's just pass it now? He's got Fetterman. He's got a majority. He just doesn't have a supermajority.
Look, I would say this. Democrats are shutting down our government and making it more inconvenient for Americans because Democrats are beholden to illegal aliens, because illegal aliens illegally vote for Democrats. This is another reason we must pass the SAVE Act. So we have American politicians who work for Americans instead of American politicians who work for foreigners. And the Democrat Party is the party of illegal aliens now, because illegal aliens give Democrat politicians votes and power. And that's what it comes down to, whether it's illegal votes in elections or power in the form of illegal aliens being counted in our census and our reapportionments. This is totally unacceptable that Democrats have put foreigners, including the most dangerous, vicious terrorist in the world, rapists, murderers, kidnappers, people who throw IEDs at peaceful protesters. These are the Democrat Party's base right now, right? And so Republicans should not blink. They should hold the line, and they should force Democrats to debate this, to vote until we reopen our government. The Democrats will blink like they've done several times over the last year. We cannot cave to them. We cannot give an inch on expelling illegal aliens out of our country. That is the president and congressional Republicans' broad electoral mandates, 312 electoral votes, all 7 swing states, the popular vote, kept the House, won a comfortable margin in the Senate. The number one issue is securing our border and expelling illegal aliens, starting with the most vicious and dangerous terrorist of them all, Islamist MS-13 Tren de Aragua. Republicans cannot and better not blink.
It is Mike Davis, article3project.org. Go there right now. You mentioned Mamdani a little while ago. Did you ever? Let me ask you this: what would Teddy Roosevelt, not Teddy, what would the third president, Benjamin Franklin, what would he think about after fighting off the Tripoli coast, after fighting off the Barbary coast in Tripoli, keeping the Islamic movement from coming to this country? What would he think about a guy showing up in front of a podium in a dais and saying something like the Prophet Muhammad said, and then go through what the Prophet Muhammad did about migration or something? What would our founding fathers think about something like that going on in this country in 2026 or any year?
I don't think they would think this, because it would be so foreign to them. It would be so incomprehensible that we would have an Islamist with a wife who cheers on the murder of Americans and our allies by other Islamists. I don't think that would even be comprehensible to our founding fathers. I don't think it would be comprehensible to New Yorkers 25 years ago, after the 9/11 attacks, that we would have an Islamist mayor of New York City. We just had a terrorist attack where you had 2 Islamist jihadis throwing IEDs at peaceful protesters. And of course, this Islamist mayor of New York with his Islamist dog of a wife, they want to condemn the peaceful protesters and not the jihadis who tried to mass murder the peaceful protesters, along with New York's finest police officers and reporters. I mean, this is totally unacceptable. And once again, this is why Congress, the Senate, must pass the SAVE Act, because this is what happens to countries when we become beholden to foreigners. This is why our founding fathers did not want us to be entangled in and beholden to these foreigners. This is
I
crazy. Islam is totally incompatible with the West. It's incompatible with our American values. We can be tolerant of other faiths like
yes.
Muslims, but we're not going to have our population replaced by Muslims.
Of course, I meant Thomas Jefferson, the third president. So, as we watch history happening, if I bring up now in front of people who are either middle of the road or leaning left, and I say, "But Thomas Jefferson fought this, that, and the other to stop this from happening," they'll say, "But slavery." They'll always say, "But something," but they were really bad people. Listen, our society is what it is because we believe in Judeo-Christian values. It is what it is because we based our laws on the Magna Carta, on the Ten Commandments, and so on. Western civilization only has a chance to exist because we still exist. I think if the United States would have gone the way that Barack Obama wanted to go not very long ago, we would just be a globalist-controlled Islamist nation at this point that doesn't have the same sort of it would look a lot like Iran, I think, and that's not saying anything that's very good. Do you agree with that the founding fathers we all are imperfect, okay? We all have flaws. But the founding fathers literally fought wars to stop the overwhelming takeover of Islamists of this country. They would have done it if they could have. We stopped them from doing it.
Yeah, I mean, just we go back centuries that Islamists for many centuries have tried to conquer and subjugate Christians, Jews, the West. Islamists are the most dangerous threat to the world right now. Marxists know this. Marxists hate the West. Marxists hate capitalism. Marxists hate Judeo-Christian values. So the Marxists are teaming up with the Islamists, particularly the jihadis, as their foot soldiers to destroy, to invade, to have as many Islamist babies as possible, and to conquer the West. And we need to wake up as Americans. We cannot allow to happen in America what Europe has allowed to happen in Europe with this Islamist invasion and overtaking of these governments. The United Kingdom, it's now the Islamist Republic of England, right? We're seeing the same thing in Spain. We're seeing this in London. We're seeing this now in New York City. It's unacceptable. And this is an existential threat to America, to the West, to our Judeo-Christian values, and to the world. It can't happen.
It is Mike Davis, MRDDMIA, over on social media. Go follow him. Go help out the Article 3 Project by going to the website, article3project.org, and the number 3 is in there. Let me ask you, because this is a very interesting conversation that people are very confused about. What is the litmus test, or the lack thereof, that was mentioned by the founding fathers? It might have been Thomas Jefferson again, that there won't be any sort of religious litmus test for those who run or represent in this country. What did he mean by that?
It means we don't have religious tests in this country, meaning you don't have to be a Christian, or you don't have to be a Jew, or you don't have to be any other religion. You can be, you don't have to be, right? We don't have a religious test in this country. What we certainly don't want are Islamists with their jihadis conquering America and imposing Sharia law. Because again, Islamists and Sharia law, those are the most dangerous threats to the West. Those are the most dangerous threats to everything we stand for as a Judeo-Christian nation.
Well, you and I agree wholeheartedly. It's a Judeo-Christian nation. The first, I believe, the first Bibles were printed by the House of Representatives. I mean, this is an intertwined. Either you were a deist or a Christian if you were a founding father. So why say that whole litmus test thing? Did they assume no religious litmus test? You can be a Christian of this sect. You can be a Catholic. You can be a fill in the blank. But they already assumed that we're not going to be taken over by the rule of Islamic law. Why didn't they just say that? I wish they would have said that, because it gives people so much room to interpret incorrectly, I think.
Look, there's no question that we can never abandon our Judeo-Christian tradition and values in America and the West. If we do that, we are going to be a failed state. We will fall, just like every great republic in world history has fallen. Yes. We can never become an Islamist country. We have to strictly control our population to make sure we never become an Islamist country. And if people don't like that, too bad. These Democrats who pretend like they're cool with Islamists, these are the same Islamists that rape women, that rape children, that are the most intolerant people imaginable to racial minorities, religious minorities, who beat women for not wearing burqas, who throw gays off walls, who treat animals horribly, who treat the environment horribly. Islamists are the most incompatible force with traditional liberals that you can imagine. So if today's Marxists want to team up with the Islamists, it's going to end very badly for these Marxists. They may be able to conquer the West, but then Islamists are going to cut off the Marxist heads.
Well, all we have to do is look at what happened with the Mujahideen and Osama bin Laden. As soon as he was done using us as useful idiots, he decided to attack us. It is Mike Davis, Article3Project.org. Let's talk about the AutoPen case. Quietly, it goes away, Mike. You and I talked about this, and if the president didn't know that he was signing all these executive orders, if he didn't know that he was signing all these pardons, which is actually more important, and I guess on one actual funding bill, they signed it with the AutoPen as well. Let's talk specifically about the pardons, because the executive orders can be undone, and they've all been undone by Trump by now. So we can't really go back in time and do anything about that. But all these pardons are protecting people who did really, really bad things. If we know the president didn't know what was being signed, what his name was going on, except for his son's pardon, which he actually signed, they should be thrown out, shouldn't they? Why did this case just go away? Do you know?
This is a very, very difficult case, and I'll tell you why, Joe. The politicians use auto pens. The issue is not whether they use the auto pen. The issue is whether they were carrying out the president's intent. I think most presidents would not use an auto pen to sign a major piece of legislation. Most presidents would not use an auto pen to sign a presidential pardon. Most presidents would use an auto pen to sign a letter from the president to a 6-year-old telling that 6-year-old what a great kid they are and what a great future they have.
I mean, he's spot on right. There's more there with Mike Davis. Mike does not hold back. I love that he just goes right after it and doesn't pull back at all. He's right. The auto pen was never intended to be used as it was used during the Biden administration, but it sounds like, sadly, that case might be done. We're back after this in the Joe Pag Show.